Patrick. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. Been doing that for going on 6 years now, which means for the last 6 years, I've been, trying to solve the problem that you guys are all trying to solve, which is how do you build a profitable art and or photography business? How do you go from being a hobbyist, creating art that you love, into an actual business that can actually sustain yourself? It's a really really interesting problem, growing a successful art business. And one of the things I've been thinking about a lot recently, and I'll go sort of on a side rant quickly, is, everybody talks about wanting to be a full-time artist. Everybody talks about wanting to quit their full-time job and be a full-time artist. Everyone talks about wanting to, support themselves, support their family on their art and or their photography. And, I think it's important to understand at a macro level in the context of what that actually looks like. Like, what are the actual numbers underpinning all of it, right? And I've got this book that I really like. I'm going to move myself over here, and then I'll get into the agenda. And so the book is on Amazon. Highly recommended. It's amazing. It's called The $12 Million Stuffed Shark, The Curious Economics of Contemporary Art. Okay. And I believe it was published maybe 10 years ago now. So 2012. And so a little bit less than that. So the figures in it, I guess you could say, are somewhat dated, but they're really, really interesting. And there's a line in this particular book, and I sort of broke it into a spreadsheet because I like to see it. But they essentially survey, and they say in this book that there are 40,000 artists in residence in New York. There are 40,000 artists in residence in London, okay? And they surveyed this bunch, and they found out where they fell economically. And out of the 80,000, 75 are what are called superstar artists. The Damien Hirsts, the biggest names in the business, over $1 million a year in revenue, and huge gallery representation. They're in Gagosian and Sotheby's, and all of the very, very biggest. So if we're talking about athletes, they're the pros, right? So that's 75 out of the 80,000, 0.09% out of the 80,000. The next tier down are mature, successful, six-figure a year plus artists. And so this is everybody that's in the, call it, 100,001 cent of yearly income, all the way up to, a little bit under $1 million a year. Out of the 80,000, that's 300 artists. So that's 0.38%. The next tier down are the people that are just a little bit under six figures, okay? And they have some representation, they sell some direct, but they have help, meaning they either have a side job, or they have a supportive spouse, or they have some other way of deriving income, and that's 5,000. So out of the 80,000 artists in residence in London, in New York, 6.72% of them are actually creating income on a steady and reliable basis. And you look at those numbers, right, and they're pretty striking. And, it can feel like a bit of a gut punch. Like, there's that few people that are actually making a living from their art. And I love those stats because, one, they're telling. Obviously, you have to adjust them that they're 8 years old, and the numbers go up a little bit. But what I think is so interesting about them is I have that data set from that book, right? And there's not a lot of people that are publishing this stuff, so it's not like I have a huge basis for comparison. But I have that data set from that book, and then I have the entire database of my customers, right? And we have 5,700 customers at Art Storefronts, and we look at their data very intently. Who's selling the most? Who's selling the most originals, commissions, prints, all of that type of stuff on a quarterly basis, yearly basis. How many email addresses do they have? How many Instagram followers? How many Facebook fans? How often are they running sales? All of that stuff. And what's really interesting is our data set sort of belies that the figures are way better than that. They're significantly better than that. And I think it points to sort of one of our larger messages, which is that, the entire art and photography market, as it was, originally constituted, or as it was constituted in that book, is changed. It's having its blockbuster Netflix moment. It's having its taxi cab Uber moment, right? Like, the old ways of doing things are literally getting obliterated. The market is changing. What an artist, what a photographer can do, what they can earn, how they can make a successful career out of their art is forever changing. And the good news is that it's getting easier. And there are more people that are significantly higher in that percentage. Like, I look at the percentage of our customer database, and it blows those numbers out of the way. It's not even close. And so I say that to encourage you. But I also say that, there's a lot of you on this call that are hobbyists. You have a hobby. You do not have a business based on your artwork. You'd like one, but you're a hobbyist, right? At the end of the day, which is totally okay. There's nothing wrong with being a hobbyist, but I think most of you have aspirations for it to be a little bit more than a hobby, right? Perhaps you're just getting started and you're like, I just want to figure out the right way to do it, and that's why you're here. Or perhaps you weren't a hobbyist. You had a great business going on. The world's changed, as I said. The Uber taxi cab moment has come. And as a result of it, you sort of feel like you're back to a hobbyist, right? Or somewhere you're in between. Or some of you have just retired and you're looking to, give yourself an income stream in addition to Social Security or whatever the case may be. And I think it's a fascinating time to do that. It's a fascinating time to contemplate that life. And I think there are more opportunities available to achieve it now than any other time. It really is one of the best times ever for the artist, based solely on the fact that like the exploitative gallery model is getting obliterated on a daily basis, a 50-50 revenue split, and you guys don't get to keep your customer information. So today's session, let's talk about it. There are a few different lenses at which we look at the art or the photography markets. Might not be the lenses that you look at it through. So I kind of want to lay down sort of a baseline of facts of how we look at things, what we believe this market looks like, what's possible, what's capable, some of the things that you need to understand, some of the things that you need to believe in. I feel like once you have that information, what normally happens is most people start nodding their heads and they're like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. This sounds like it's right. How do we know this? Again, we've been doing this for a great number of years. We have a tremendous amount of customers. We study their data. We see what's going on, and we're very good and competent at digital marketing. So I like to give this presentation because I think it likes to set the stage for what we believe, how you need to look at the market, how you need to look at the potential for the rest of your career. After that, Art Storefronts has what's called the demo process. And the demo is basically like test driving the car, right? You get in it, you get to play with all the bells and knobs, you get to shift through the gears and turn on the air conditioning and open the sunroof and all of that. That's where you fill out a form. Somebody from our outreach team contacts you, and they'll learn about you. You get to ask all the questions about pricing, anything else. And then if you like what you hear, you schedule the demo, the test drive. It goes like an hour. It's a private Zoom call with you and someone on our outreach team. They walk you through all the bells and whistles in the software and the marketing and everything that we do. So I'm going to start with the presentation today. After the presentation is done, we will open the session up to Q&A. As the presentation is rolling along today, there is a chat window at the bottom of your Zoom, and you can see that we're throwing some links and some stuff in there already. If you've got questions as we're rolling along, you can just throw them in there. In the minute I'll get to the Q&A, I'll answer them. Members of the team might just proactively answer them as we roll along, as there's some people in there already. And if you're one of the ones watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, I see your comments as well. We don't have any yet, but this thing will tell me when you do. So if you feel like you have a question, you have a comment, you can leave it there, and I will pick them up on the tail end of things. Also, I'm going to run through a number of links and resources and PDFs and reports and the like, and I'm going to send all of those to you afterwards. Sometimes we'll post these things in the chat, so you can click on them if you want to look at them in real time. But you don't feel like you need to. We're going to send them all in addition to a replay of this video after the fact. So you'll be able to rewatch the video if you're so inclined. You'll be able to click on any of the links, and you don't have to feel like you have to take notes or anything. Which who wants to take notes? So all right, let me get this thing pulled up. Let me get out of my $20 million stuffed shark operation. And Juan, I see Brian in here. Ask Brian if he wants to talk or say anything, and then just send me a message. All right, I give you the art selling pyramid, okay? And this is sort of part and parcel of how we believe that you need to look at the art and photography markets if you want to have a successful career. And we're pretty firmly entrenched in this opinion. So I kind of want to explain it. I want to lay it out. I have here the path to a successful art business. Stated another way, here's how you go from hobbyist to actual business. Here's how you go from hobbyist to actual business that can't be taken away from you. Here's how you go from hobbyist to business to when a pandemic hits, you're not left out in the cold like many of you just were after this thing hit, because your revenue sources do not dry up because you have your own revenue and attention sources that you can market to. So it's a pyramid that I stole from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't know if you're familiar with Maslow or his hierarchy of needs. Basically, it's a pyramid with blocks. You have to sort the bottom blocks until you get to the top blocks. In Maslow's case, the bottom block is physiological. We all have to eat. We all have to sleep. We all have to do that daily. Once you get that sorted, you can work on safety and security and lifting weights, apparently, making money, love, belonging, esteem, self-actualization. Wonderful. The bottom block of the art selling pyramid is attention. And attention is the currency of the land that we live in. And this is a hard truth, a hard fact, a hard pill that absolutely everyone needs to swallow. Attention comes in multiple forms. It comes in rented and owned. The rented attention can be you don't control the rules. It can be taken away from you, but it's very important. Facebook fans, Instagram fans, YouTube followers, Pinterest subscribers, LinkedIn followers, wherever you're doing your marketing. And then the owned attention is the one that can't be taken away from you. Email addresses, phone numbers, snail mail addresses if you're doing marketing that way. And no different than Maslow's example, okay? Getting attention is a daily task. Eating and sleeping is a daily task. I know conclusively because I've been running essentially 3 of these a week for over a year, as well as talking to my own customers internally on a regular basis, that every single solitary person in this Zoom call has an attention problem. You need more eyes to sell your art or photography and grow your business. It is a truth, full stop. Okay, and it doesn't matter what size your business is. We have people that are knocking on the $1 million a year in revenue. Not a lot, but we do. Those people want to grow that business to $5 million a year. The fuel that is going to get that rocket to that height is attention. Okay, it's the currency of the land. And I would love to tell everyone on this call that the success of your art or photography business is a meritocracy on how good your work is, but it's not. Not in the day and age that we live in. We don't live in a day and age where the best art, the best photography wins. We live in a day and age where the best art or the best photography that gets seen wins. Stated another way, it's not a meritocracy on how good you are on your craft. It is a meritocracy on how good you are in your marketing. That's it. The best art wins that gets seen. That's marketing. It's the biggest problem absolutely everyone has. Step 1 is understanding it. Step 2 is working on it. It's a marketing problem. We're going to get into it more. The next block in the pyramid, okay, has an outer portion and an inner portion. The outer portion is you need to understand the business model and you need to be building a collector list. Let's talk about the business model. The business model, stated succinctly, okay, is you need to be selling direct. There can be no one in between you and your end customer. You need to be selling this way such that you retain the information on your customers, such that you can market to your customers in perpetuity, okay? So that you can build a collector list. Collector list, concept I took from this book originally, Don't Be a Starving Artist. Great book, very thin. Highly recommend you all buy it. Why would you want to? Because the author is Weiland. Weiland's the best-selling artist in the United States, and apparently it's not even close. This guy knows what he's talking about. He defines a collector list as someone over the course of their lifetime that will buy in upwards of 8+ pieces of art from him. So he keeps creating work. His prices keep going up. These people keep coming back, and they buy again and again and again, okay? So I would go as far to say, okay, doing this for as long as I have now and seeing the results for the artists that are actually selling, actually doing well, you know, actually moving mountains, the size and health of an art or a photography business's collector list is the #1 most important metric to the business. It is the #1 most important metric that will dictate whether or not that business is going to be successful or not. Just a truth, just a truth. If you do not understand the business model, if you are not retaining the information on your collectors, if you do not have the ability to treat these people like VIPs and send them Christmas cards and like and comment on their Facebook posts and send them personalized emails, the odds of you making it go significantly, significantly down. And week in, week out, on these calls, what happens? I talk to people in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, in their 70s, in their 80s. They had great art businesses, but they didn't understand the business model, and they didn't understand the importance of a collector list. And then what happened? The world changed, and then COVID hit, and they didn't have people to market to. And all of a sudden, their income sources were gone. And they had no one to email, and they had no one to talk to, and they had no collectors to woo or to romance because the galleries kept them. Okay, there is a reason that whether you are talking about an online gallery or an offline gallery, okay, that they do not give you information on your collectors because the collectors are the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters. And it breaks my heart to see so many people that sold so well for so many years that have no damn idea who bought their art. They have no idea. They have no ability to talk to them in the future. And it's critical, absolutely critical to understand that. Underpins everything that we do as a business. The next section, once we understand attention, we're working on it daily. Once we understand the business model, once we are building a collector list, and we can get into that later. There's 3 ways to sell art, okay? And I believe every artist, every photographer that wants to grow a successful business in today's day and age and the years to come needs to understand the 3, needs to deploy the 3 where applicable. And let's get into the first way, the best way. Everybody knows what this is because all of you do it. It's in person, face to face. Always has been the best way, always will be the best way. Problem though, okay, you, me, David, Richard, Anthony, who's sculpting back there, we all are geographically fixed on this planet, okay? We all have to sleep. We all can't have 15 conversations at once. So the next way is on your website. You have to have a website. It solves for that. The newest way, the way the entire art and photography community is trying to figure out right now, the entire e-commerce community is trying to figure out right now, it's exactly what we're doing right here. Via live video, either one-to-one or one-to-many. Let me explain one-to-one. I follow Richard on Instagram. I see one of his photographs. I'm assuming you're a photographer. Are you a photographer, Richard, or artist? Just give me a thumbs up if you're a photographer. Thumbs down if you're an artist. Thumbs up, photographer. 1 for 1 on that. Note that 1 for 1. So I follow him on Instagram. I see one of his photographs. I was like, damn, that thing looks good. I need some art for my bathroom. I send him a message on Instagram and I say, Richard, I'm really interested in this piece. I want to find out more. Do you think we could jump on a live show or jump on a Zoom call together and you could explain to me kind of your inspiration and what the available options are? Is it on metal? Is it on canvas? Et cetera, et cetera. And he goes, no problem, Patrick. Here's a Zoom link. We jump into a call. I get to meet him. I get to know him. He's explaining to me the options. He's explaining to me his inspiration. It turns out we both like beer. We crack a beer on the call. Whatever ends up happening, it is the greatest way to sell art of photography, full stop. It's not even close, and it's completely changing the industry. And that's the one-to-one, okay? And no one's doing it. No one's doing it. How many of you guys are having Zoom calls with your potential customers, right? Very, very few. That's one-to-one. Let's talk about one-to-many. Good for you, Jeff. I want to hear about that later if you are. The one-to-many is what we call the live art show, okay? And this is what the entire world is trying to figure out all at once. The one-to-one, okay, Zoom calls, we all get that. Everyone understands that. The live art show concept is very, very simple. So you have some batch of inventory. You are in your studio or in whatever portion of your house or wherever you might want to be able to stream it. You have some inventory you want to sell. You hold it up. You talk about it. You stream it to the various different socials where you have attention. You email your list after the fact. People are able to leave comments in real time. I'll get my fat head out of here so you can see this. And this particular gentleman, longtime customer, extremely talented artist, good friend. This is like really old work that he did 10 years ago. But anyway, beside the point. He, over a period of 15 days, 2 different basement sales, and don't worry, I'm going to send you these videos after the fact so you can watch them. He sold 62 pieces of art for a little bit over $30,000 Canadian. He didn't have to leave his house. He didn't have to pay anyone a 50% commission rate. He maintained all the data on his collectors. He had one giant shipping nightmare afterwards, but that's a good problem to solve, right? And once we saw that, I was utterly, totally, and completely blown away. And this was somewhere in the middle of the pandemic. So this one was in May, I believe. The other one was in June, May 22nd. The other one was June something or other. So that's in his case. What have we done since then? We've run hundreds. We've literally run hundreds of these things. Maybe not hundreds, but we've definitely run over 50. And in this particular case, Art Storefront's customer, artist out of Kansas City, named Meg Knappenberger, and she was physically moving from one studio to another. And she had a bunch of excess stuff, and she's a painter, so they're not like full pieces. They're like color studies and sketches and this and that. She had, in this show, 82 pieces, I believe. Out of the 82 pieces, she sold 72 of them, and it was a little bit over $12,000 in sales. And, you remember earlier when I talked about the collector list? She ran the live art show on a Wednesday. She emailed her collector list on a Monday. Her collector list bought 46% of the show before the show even ran. So there was a whole bunch of pieces she couldn't even show. That's how important a collector list is, okay? So that's in Meg's case. Since then, what have we done? We've run one after another with different artists in different geographical areas, in different subject materials, and various different places in their house. And we continue to see success, the likes of which I have never seen with any other single solitary marketing or technique or tactic. And I've been doing this a long time. Okay. It's not even close. This is fundamentally the future of selling art and photography, full stop. And we're not the only ones that are figuring it out. Everyone's starting to figure it out all at once, right? And this is like the baseline view of it. You know, yours is an industry that doesn't have a lot of reports. I should have had this pulled up. There's two big companies that put out two big reports a year. They really only survey, oh, sorry, I was on Drive. Let me just fix this art marketing report. So, did I get it? Yeah, there it is. So, no, that's not it. I can't spell today. Bear with me. Marketing, the report, there it is. Okay. So, like I said, there's one called the Hiscox report. This one's put out by Art Basel and UBS, and they call it, I clicked on the wrong link. They call it the Global Art Marketing Report. What do they call it? Download the Art Market Report. Okay, fine. This is where I want to be. And it's a great report. The disclaimer on this is that they really only survey the top 5% of artists in the world in this thing, right? And the website was broken before, but now it's working again, thankfully, so I can show this off. But you can see global art market, auction sales, dealer sales, art fairs and exhibitions, online sales, global wealth and art buyers, economic impact. You guys should check it out. I'm going to send you the links. But I like to quote this first part, and they're essentially talking about the year that we all lived through of COVID. And chapter 5 is online sales. Chapter 5 looks at the online art market and the rapid evolution in sales in 2021. The chapter shows how the dealer sector shifted sales online in 2020 at the development of online viewing rooms, OVRs. Stated another way, you know what an OVR is? It is a fancy way of saying a Zoom call. It's just a Zoom call, okay? But what happened at the very high end of the scheme is the major dealers, the major artists, the high net worth individuals, all on a video chat showing the latest work, and a tremendous amount of art was sold throughout the pandemic. Why do I bring that up? It doesn't matter if you're just getting started or if you're at the very top, you're one of the over 1 million. Everyone is trying to figure out how to leverage live video in either a one-to-one or a one-to-many fashion. It is the future of the game, full stop. I don't know how many of you guys have run a live art show on here before or yet or contemplated or heard about it, but it continues to blow me away on a regular basis. And, you know, more reason than anything else to sign up for Art Storefronts is that we're better than this than anyone else. Not because we're so awesome or we're so high on our own supply, but just because we run so many of them. And I love giving the cautionary examples. So if you look at this one behind me, same one, my buddy. We use him for case studies all the time. I don't know if you notice anything about this one, but if you look closely, you can maybe see there's something wrong with the quality, right? Quality looks crappy. You want to know why the quality looks crappy? Because his partner is upstairs streaming Netflix while the damn show is going on. So you run enough of these things, you learn things, right? No one's streaming Netflix. Take your iPads away from the kids, right? You need all the bandwidth you can to run it. But I'll show you one other interesting one, which is like a, sort of a mega interesting twist, is my buddy Matthew here, and you'll see this guy's mega talented. He had a show in the middle of COVID, okay? And they let him get away with the show. Like, the show must go on. And obviously attendance wasn't huge, social distancing, mask mandates, the whole thing, right? And we got a laptop. We got the cell phone. We turned it on the next day. He acted like it was opening night. He's got his glass of wine and his lovely little tank top here and his earbuds in. And he introduced the show. He talked about the show. And he walked the show like you were in the gallery on opening night. And you got to see what pieces were purchased and what pieces were available. And people were asking questions about what's his inspiration. People were attempting to negotiate and purchase pieces as a result of the secondary show. Multiple pieces from the show that had not sold on the first whack ended up selling. And you look at this, and this is the future. This is the next greatest thing to selling in person, face-to-face. It's not even close. It's amazing, and it's changing the game. So most people are not aware of it, or they're loosely aware of it, and it's just I've never, ever in my marketing years seen anything like this in this industry that is moving the needle, actually moving pieces. And we're discovering more and more on a daily basis. Those are the 3 ways. Top of the pyramid. It's everything else, okay? It's everything else. What do I mean everything else? Do you have a brick and mortar gallery? It's still working for you. It's providing revenue. Fantastic. Keep it. But it's got to be in addition to working on attention and in addition to understanding the business model and building a collector list and in addition to the 3 ways of selling art. So too if it's an online gallery, so too if the show and therapy circuit, any of the rest of it. But again, I finished this thing off with my last slide, which is perspective, okay? And, you know, whether it's you guys and your collectors and customers or whether it's us, you know, as a software and education company, like he or she who is closest to the customer wins, okay? That is just a fundamental truth and rule. And how does it apply for us? I have talked to hundreds of you guys week in, week out for a year. You do that long enough, you've heard of every scenario imaginable. You've got your finger on the pulse of this particular art world and what it looks like. And what I've learned conclusively is that you guys do not have midlife crises. Once an artist, always an artist. Once a photographer, always a photographer. You're never going to change. You might go through bouts where it becomes less a business and more a hobby, but it doesn't change. You guys are constantly creating. And why do I bring that up? To give you the perspective of how long you have left in your lives to continue working on building and selling in this business. And I also bring that up to say that is an important thing that you understand if you ever want to do business with us, because you guys all suck at marketing. And I need to teach you to market. And let me tell you, that's not something that happens in 1 month or 3 months or 6 months. The first year sucks. You are going to be pulling your hair out of your head, okay? You have to learn how to capture emails. You have to learn how to email emails. You have to learn how to run a sale and what all the mechanics look like of a sale and how to announce a sale and what the discount should look like and how to tease it and what to do during it, after it, how to extend it, how to make sure that your social posts dovetail with your sale message so more people see it. You have to learn how to run live art shows. You have to learn how to run live art shows and have enough bandwidth in your house to do it. There is a lot that you need to learn in order to build a business in this new reality, in this new world that exists right now and in the future. And it's not easy. It's not easy in the beginning, but if you have the perspective, okay, of how long you have to continue doing this, the couple years grinding that you need to do, all right, is way, way worth it. It's way, way worth it. It is how you have a business that cannot be taken away from you. It's how you have a business where you control the rules. It's how you have a business where you're not a hobbyist and you're actually building something that you're deriving revenue and income off of. So I get very passionate about that topic, very passionate about that subject, but the perspective is important, right? It's mega important. And again, pardon my French, but no one can bullshit me anymore. The combination of talking to so many hundreds of you that I have and the combination of seeing all the data on my customers, I've seen every scenario imaginable. And the amount of artists or photographers that tell me that they want to be a serious business, that they want to derive income out of it, that they want to, you know, be able to quit their day job or have retirement for income. And then the amount of people that actually consistently market all year, don't bullshit me, right? I see time and time again all these people telling me they want a real business and they do not understand that you have to market consistently all year long. So once you have the perspective aligned properly in your head, that's when I'm banging this, you realize that it's not about how many hours a week you have to work on your marketing. I don't care if you have 1 hour a week to work on your marketing. I need 52 weeks of it in a row. And the year after that, I need another 52 weeks of it. And what does everybody do? This is going to be my year. It's going to be great. I'm really going to take my art business seriously. And you work on your marketing really hard for 3 months. You don't know what you're doing. You don't get the results, not the lack of proper perspective, and then you quit, right? So that's my rant. I'm sticking to it. I get pretty fired up about it, but it's just truth. It is just truth in today's day and age. So at this point, we open it up to Q&A. I've got a contest to tease too, so I want to talk about that. Don't let me forget that. I'll do that after the Q&A starts going. How does the Q&A work? A couple different ways. One, if you're one of the brave ones with your camera on and you have a question, you can raise your hand and I'll see it, unmute you. You can ask whatever you want about anything that we do, all of that. Also, though, there's like, you know, at the bottom of your little Zoom window, there's a reactions button. It's like a little smiley face. And that gives you the ability to raise your hand. You can just click on that thing and it says raise your hand. And that sort of forms a queue of the questions. You can see I clicked it and my hand's raised. So that's how I know you have a question. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on. I hate being on video. I get it. You can ask just via audio. That's no problem at all. The people that have been throwing questions in the chat, Anthony, I see yours. We'll get those too, so you can throw them in the chat if you're so inclined. And then again, if you're one of the ones watching on social, like Kent, he left a comment here. I can answer those, Kent, as well. So that's no problem at all. But yeah, that's the presentation. So I think we open it up to Q&A. Anybody want to go first? Anyone feeling brave? Everyone. Sometimes you have to really break the envelope. You know I'm picking on you first, David. You've been on like 3 of these. Nothing? Not a single question. Richard? All right. See, there we go. There we go. Thank you, Richard. Thank you for being brave. Go ahead, Richard. Yeah, you got it. You unmuted.
So print fulfillment,
yes,
and sending stuff off to Australia. So I'm Australian based. It's 4 o'clock in the morning over here, so I'm still half asleep. But anyway,
I love your commitment, and thank you for it.
Good on you. So how does that work? Is there suppliers out here that you use, or is there suppliers?
Yeah. So given the shipping situation that you're in, and what all just where in Australia are you, out of curiosity?
Newcastle, just north of Sydney.
Just north of Sydney. I got a buddy that longtime customer, really good friend, who's Aussie. He's in Maitland, I think. You can I'll remind me after, or April, just make a note to send Richard John Lechner's contact information, because sometimes it helps to talk to a fellow Aussie. But the long and the short of it is, for your domestic Aussie orders, you would do what's called self-fulfillment. We don't have a print partner there currently, so you would just get the order would come in, you would use your local, and you would just ship those domestically, to take care of that. For your orders everywhere else in the world, you'd use our print partners, which are based, in the U.S. We use Bay Photo on the West Coast. We use Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. You pick one, and it's glorious because a couple of reasons. One, order comes in, you get paid, printer gets paid, order gets printed, order gets boxed, your logo gets slapped on the box, order gets shipped to the customer. You touch nothing. You have to do nothing. Automated 100%. In addition to that, what's nice about the partners that we have is they're both $30 million a year plus businesses, and you do that, you tend to get some pretty damn good rates with FedEx and UPS, right? So the shipping is significantly cheaper for your customers. So we would just have to do some intelligent routing in your case, to route the orders between the two, right? The domestic ones you take care of, you self-fulfill, and then the rest of them, happens automatically.
Okay, cool.
What kind of stuff do you shoot?
Oops, sorry, I missed that.
What kind of stuff do you shoot?
Landscape primarily.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I know John Lechner as well. I've known him for a few years.
Oh, already. Okay, so yeah, did he turn you on to us or no?
No, I've been looking to do this for quite some time, and I found your imprint at the bottom of one of his pages, and I thought, who are these guys? So here I am.
There we go. And just for the record, yes, I did notice that you have Wilson up there on your shelf, and it made me,
Wilson.
It made me laugh. It made me laugh. So awesome. Any other questions, Richard?
No, not for now.
All right. Cheers. All right, Jeff, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm new to the whole thing. Mark Bergsma referred me.
Yeah, we got you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
And I love Mark. Super good dude.
Yeah, he's really great. And great work and everything. And I'm a photographer in Washington State. And I had a question, like on the website that you create, can you do other products? I noticed there was like a T-shirt.
That you could
sell, but is there like I do calendars.
Yep.
And I was thinking of doing a bunch of different like products. So can those be kind of added into what or for sale? Or?
Yep, 100%.
How's that work?
So a couple of different things. I'm going to answer it 3 different ways. One, is the entire website geared to sell wall art in terms of like our advanced features? Yeah, it is. But guess what? It's also just an e-commerce shopping cart at the end of the day. So you can literally sell anything. That's number 1, anything. Number 2, we have POD going on with the prints, right? We also have POD going on with the merch. So you have the ability to sell puzzles, calendars, shirts, mugs, tote bags, pillows.
Yeah.
And that's all in a POD fashion, meaning no minimum orders, no inventory, one up, one down. But in addition, let's say you don't want to use our calendar, people, you like your calendars better. That's totally okay too. You can just put those in a store, and then when the orders come in, you'll be responsible for shipping them. But you can do all of the above.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, that answers my question, because there's some things that are like real personal, like I print up in Bellingham here, and I don't mind shipping out calendars, but like big metal prints or something, forget it. It's great that Bay Photo, is going to just do that.
Exactly. And I love that you're thinking about merch too. And like merch has like a, it has like an interesting connotation to it. And a lot of times artists turn their nose up with the concept of merch, right? And originally I sort of did too. Like, you get this kitschy stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a marketer, okay? I'm constantly looking for ways to generate leads. And let me tell you, I love giving away swag to generate leads. It just works, right? There's a reason all these companies do it all the time. You can do it too. And people love to win a coffee mug and this and that. I also love that it offers, inexpensive price points for people to start a relationship, right? And build a business.
That's a real key. Yeah.
It's massive. But where I've come around like 180 on the merch, which is interesting, and someone on this call said it, and somebody was on the call, and look, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I don't blame anyone. I'm opinionated. I stick to mine. You're allowed yours. This gal was just not having it, right? She was not having it on this call. It cheapens my work. I would never sell that crap. And this guy gets on next. He's like, I don't have a question, but I just want to talk to that artist before. He goes, do you know who the greatest rock band of all time is? And she goes, no, who? He goes, the Rolling Stones. He goes, you know what the Rolling Stones have at every single solitary concert? A giant booth for merch. They sell millions of dollars of it a year, right? But the other
people love it too.
Yeah, and people love it. And the other sort of, permutation or abstraction of it is like, name me a museum that you've been into that doesn't have a gift shop. The gift shops do incredibly well, right? Like the minute that you contemplate sort of the whole scenario, and I'm just going to pull up a website because it'll punctuate. The minute you contemplate the whole entire scenario with that mental framework rather than, and hold on, I'm just getting this site up so I can show it. I can do show and tell. The minute you contemplate it with that framework, it's like, oh, wait a minute, you're right. And so really what the merch is just an additional revenue opportunity, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on my product pages. Now, it can be on my product pages, but when you think about it as like the gift shop mentality, it becomes like way easier. Like people become less entrenched. So, we have the ability to do it two ways. I prefer the gift shop way personally, but you can see in his case, he's got watercolor paper and canvas and metal and wood and acrylic, but he has to reassign some of these images. Oh, I know. We just had a new feature where you're able to resize it or whatever, so the customer can make the crop where they want to. But tank tops, tote bags, throw pillows. Throw pillows are actually pretty cool. They can do iPhone cases, mugs, puzzles, and like I said, the customer is able to adjust the crop a lot of times. You can fix the crop how you want it to be, or the customer can be. So, you have all the options available to you that makes selling the merch, in the visual fashion very, very easy, which I think is really important. But look, when you do marketing for any period of time, like I have, you start to realize universal truths, like a universal truth, okay? The easiest customer to get is the one that you already have, right? Is the one that you already have. And sort of a way to think about that is like, okay, I come to Jeff's website. He's anti-merch. He's anti-cheap price points. His photographs start at $1,200, let's just say, right? That's a really high price point, right? I might be following you and like your work and be interested in what you do, but I can't afford $1,200 right now. And so you have nothing for me, right? But what if you had a mug, or what if you had a throw pillow, or what if you had a tote? Okay, so now I've bought something from you. You now have my collector. You now have my information to market to me. And now, for the next 2 years, why I grow and mature in my career, for the next 2 years, I'm now looking at your art every single solitary day. Guess what happened then? I moved out of my parents' basement because I'm a millennial. I have my first apartment, and I've got blank walls. Guess whose name is guess whose tote bag is right by my door? Yours, right? And so who am I going to come and buy another print from? And I see that time and time again, and it's like, I like it. I like anything that gives an opportunity to get customers in no matter where they are on the bell curve. And do I have a pen? My kids take literally everything. I mean, I woke up this morning and my glasses and my mouse were hidden. Do you know how frustrating it is when your mouse is just gone? You can't do anything. You can't do anything. Gone. Kids are the worst. Everyone's followers, okay? Mine, yours, Anthony's, Richard's, everyone's. Cynthia's over there. is they fall into a bell curve. Okay, this is just truth, and it's a socioeconomic bell curve. And my camera's reversed, so it's hard for me to do this. But let me just see if I can do it. Low income, socioeconomic status, lower middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals. Right? When you understand that, and you understand that throughout time people will move on the bell curve, but everyone's follower base is always going to look at that and look like that. And you need to have price points for everyone on that scale. When you have price points for everyone on that scale, you're able to capture more revenue from your marketing efforts. You're able to capture more customer data from your marketing efforts. And when you have the perspective of how long you guys are going to be in business doing this, you realize that there's a lot of people that are on the low end of that spectrum that in 10 years' time are going to be on the high end of that spectrum. And the difference between you getting the sale and someone else is you have their information and you've been marketing to them. So, yeah. Long roundabout way of saying I'm pro merch.
Right.
Gotcha. Any other questions?
No, that was great.
Yeah, I'm ranting on a Friday.
You know how to turn a question into a whole presentation.
Yeah. I'd see my aforementioned point of 3 a week for a year and a half. Like I do this.
Right.
Pattern recognition becomes a real thing, right? It totally becomes a real thing. But okay, thank you for the question. Okay, Cynthia. All right. Yep, we got you next, Cynthia.
Now I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Good. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for just the information.
Yeah.
So just real quick, I was just going to say, so recently, I have left the medical field, and but I was employed as an artist years ago, which ended 9/11 when that whole thing happened. I was laid off. But I love art, and so suddenly I have a bunch of commissions, and
awesome.
Which is pretty incredible. Nice little transition there. However, I like what you're talking about, your marketing strategy and things, because what I have run into is okay, I need to get a new website up, and I have somebody saying I'm going to help you with your business Facebook page. You need to have that and do this, that, and it's like, man, I've got like a bunch of commissions, and these people are waiting, and I need to be able to do the work. And I didn't go to school for marketing at all. I didn't go to school for art either. I just happened to be halfway decent at it, and people buy my stuff. Yeah. So hopefully that'll happen more and more. So anyways, it's kind of, I like what you're sharing. And I do have a gentleman who we have a Zoom meeting set up next Friday, but the more I thought about what he had to share, and he sent me some examples, some links, and I kind of watched while I was painting yesterday. I'm like, this sounds, this sounds good. I mean, it sounds like something that would be very helpful and beneficial. So I can be freed up to just focus on what I need to do. But I do hear what you're saying about marketing and making sure, you already have your customers, they know who you are. And then when you have new things, making sure you're getting out there and on there, and emails, whatnot, responding.
Yep.
Yeah. I like the Christmas cards and just keeping things like at a personal, having that rapport, not only established, but maintained, right?
100%,
over time.
100%. Every like all artists and photographers out there, almost, 201, they think they have website problems. Everyone's been sold that they have a website problem, right? And, what I always say in these calls is like, if I was the genie and I just popped out of the lamp and I said, Cynthia, I will move your website for you. I'll have it set up and snap of my fingers, any platform you want, anywhere. What would change in your business? Nothing. Nothing would change because you don't have a website problem. No one on this call has a website problem. You have an attention problem. You have a marketing problem, right? That's the problem you need to fix. And sadly, what every artist and photographer does is they move from website to marketplace to website to marketplace to website because it's the easy thing to do. And they don't ever work on the only problem they really have, which is the marketing problem.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm hearing you say is that, well, you still have to put in your part.
Yes.
But when I was talking to Jeff, he was saying, we set your hands free so that you can still do what you need to be doing.
Yes.
We do a lot of legwork for you.
Yes.
Which is awesome. And to be honest, I'm a people person. I like talking to people. I don't have a problem, meeting strangers. I can go up to any stranger. I don't have a problem with that, but I don't have, business degree. I don't have that whole marketing approach. And then there's that weird part, and I don't know, I think there are many artists that deal with this problem, but just having that confidence to not negotiate my prices,
Oh yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
not like make excuses for my prices and explain myself. I hate doing that. I hate it. It's like, man, I just wish I had a manager to deal with the money. I don't want to deal with it.
Oh, 100%. I see. Oh my gosh. It's endemic, right? It's like artist, photographer, fears in life. Number 1, death. Number 2, fear of public speaking. Number 3, wanting to create another website, never creating another website again. You hate it. Number 4, pricing their work, underpricing their work, being terrified about raising prices. I mean, I am not kidding. I have had multiple customers where I'm like, look, I have access to your website.
Mm-hmm.
Have a frosty beverage of your choice. Go to sleep tonight. And when you wake up, I am raising the prices for you. You don't have to do it. You don't have to touch it. I am doing it for you, okay? Do not worry about it. They are so terrified to raise the prices and charge what they're actually worth that it's like they're trembling, right? Like they can't even do it. So yeah, that's a massive problem in the industry. But you know, going to what you said earlier, like you don't have a marketing degree, you don't have a business degree, like
right.
That's essentially what we are at the end of the day. Do we have the best website solution out there? Yeah, that's not braggadocio. We've been working at this for a long time, and so we have more features than anyone else does. But really what we are is we're an art marketing university. We're an art marketing university that teaches our customers in perpetuity how to market and run an art business. The reason is that's the biggest problem you guys all have. And the biggest problem with marketing is things have really accelerated in today's day and age, and it moves so damn fast. And you know, the dinosaur of the marketing world right now is a textbook, because by the time it's printed, it's out of date, right? Like the goalposts are moving so quickly, and what ends up happening is we all, based on human nature, chase after shiny objects. Ooh, this new thing is really working. I hear SEO is great. Or, you know, everyone's talking about TikTok. Or, oh, you got to do this. So-and-so had such great success with this. And it's as much about teaching you how to do the marketing as it is fundamentally saying, do not waste your time doing that. This is your lane. Stay in your lane. How do I know this is your lane? Because I have 5,700 customers, okay? And when I look at their data, I do not have a single one out of the 5,700 that is making any money from marketing on Pinterest. At all. At all. Not a dime. So there's one less thing, okay? Don't post any crap on Pinterest unless it's your hobby. So we're able to make a bunch of like value and judgment calls like that, to your point. So, you know, if you have 5 hours a week, let's just say, to give me to work on your marketing, I'm going to make sure that they're 5 hours spent on the highest ROI thing possible with no time wasting, right? So you still have time to do your commissions, but you're putting in effort that's actually growing your business.
Right.
Yeah.
So days you're going to be teaching me marketing strategies, but at the same time, you all are doing it too.
Yes.
Helping. You're putting the pieces where they need to go, so to speak.
Yes.
Like customers don't come to you, you got to go to them. So
yeah, we teach you how to grow the business week in, week out, all year long, and it never stops. I mean, it's the easiest way to think about it is it's no joke. It's a graduate school to actually how to grow an art business.
And I can still paint. I can have time to
100%.
create the
100%. Yep.
Perfect. Exciting. Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Good questions. And congrats on getting out of the medical field and having the time to do it all.
Well, I love my patients and all that, but man, I'm done with that mask, and it's all good. You know, I just need, and it was very stressful time, but
100%.
last year, but it's okay.
Yeah. Love it. Good questions. Thank you, Cynthia. What else, guys? Questions? Oh, here, I got one on the socials that I can answer. Let's see. What is he saying here? You stated to create what they want. Oh, yeah. So, okay. Did this successfully and commercially for decades. What do you think of asking your Facebook friends what they like in art to gain an idea of what they want? Yeah, I mean, Kent, I'm at a higher level than where you are. You're down in the weeds on it, just up high. The artist or the photographer, okay, who is closest to the customers win. And, you know, the perfect example of this, and I get in trouble saying this, but it's just truth, is, you know, how many artists, how many photographers are struggling in their business because they go and create what they want to create, what inspires them, what they love to shoot, right? And they do that in an utter, total, and complete vacuum without ever getting any feedback. Now, it's okay to do that. It's okay to have that as a creative expression, but that's also the distinction between being a hobbyist and having a business, okay? Having a business is creating a customer. That's how you have a business. You create a customer. And when you get close to the customer, you find out that they sometimes want something that's a little bit different than what you're creating. And if you are flexible and you have the ability to pivot a little bit based on that feedback, then you're in it to win it. And everyone's always like, no, that violates my artistic integrity, right? Like, I'm going to create what I want to create, and that's how it works. And that, it just infuriates me because it is the biggest load of bullshit I have ever heard. When Pablo Picasso died, he had 45,000 unsold works in his inventory. What the hell do you think he was doing the whole time, right? He was creating stuff that the market didn't want, that told him, I don't want this. And then what did he do? He went and listened to them, tried something that they did want, and as a result of that, stumbled into his biggest periods, right? So it's just a fact. It's a truth. If you want to make a business out of it, you have to be close to your customer. You have to listen to what they want. You have to take that feedback. And ultimately, you need to create sales, right? So a lot of what we teach, a lot of what we rant on, quite a bit. But yeah. And awesome, Kent. Thank you. Kent said he's been with us for 3 years, which is awesome. We're growing up as a business now. Yeah, Ansel Adams did 40,000 negatives. Case in point, right? You know, it's you got to fire a bunch of arrows to hit the target. Yeah, good session today, though. What else? Any other questions, guys? Oh, somebody asked me about a 3D artist. Who is that? I'm going to unmute you. I forgot about you. Hold on. Promise I'm going to circle back. Anthony. Are you there, Anthony? I'm going to unmute you. He's asking how are 3D artists doing? Any examples that you can share? Yeah, I mean, I could tell you, Anthony, and it looks like your camera's on, but you'll have to unmute down low, bottom left-hand corner of the Zoom window. There's like a mic icon somewhere. The rules don't change for a 3D artist at all. You still have a marketing problem, same as everyone else. So that's the most important thing that you need to be doing. But we can try and send you some examples of some other 3D artists. We do have some on the platform for sure. And I think Anthony's camera froze. He's either froze or he's very, very good at remaining still. Yeah, sometimes that happens. And Ken, you're asking the random generator. It's got to be in one of the playbooks. I think it's in the contest playbook. That's how you award. I don't even need to get into it. One fun thing that we're going to do next week that I'll sort of tease, give you guys a thirst to look, is occasionally we run contests that are kind of fun. And when you win the contest, you end up getting a free membership for some period of years. We're going to be running a huge one next week. It's going to center around live art shows. One of the requirements for entering the contest is going to be you have to ship your own live art show and then send it to us. So you'll look to your email next week. I'm going to announce that thing and drop it. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Yeah. So there's that. What else, guys? Questions? Can be about anything. Pricing, POD, marketing, collector list. It's all good. It's all on the table. I'll leave it a second. Yeah, cool. Oh yeah, so I should say, like, look, if this is the first time you're on the call and you're just figuring out, just figuring out who we are, what we do, can you trust us? Do we know what we're talking about? All that jazz. Don't worry about it. But if you're on this call and you're like, okay, these guys know what they're talking about. This is interesting. Request a demo. It's the test drive. It's awesome. You meet with a member of the outreach team. They find out about you. They find out about your art. And, you get to see the software and everything else. And I think with the presentation today, super important to listen to this first, if possible. Excuse me. I forgot to press my mute button. Because it's important to understand the context of why we do what we do and what we believe, right? Which is really important. And then the demo, you get to see all the bells and whistles and everything else. And it's between those two, you can decide what's what. But also, too, we're 15 days away from banging the drum massively. And, you guys are all on our email list. Yes, I know we email way too much. But you're going to start seeing us banging the drum about the fact that Q4 is coming. Q4 is the last quarter of the year, the last 13 weeks of the year, in which falls Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Now, in pre-pandemic years, in non-COVID years, we have a significant portion of our customer base that sell more art, more photography in the fourth quarter than all the other 3 quarters combined. It's just that productive a time to be selling art and photography, holiday buying season. So it's you know, it's going to sound like a sales pitch. I don't want it to sound like a sales pitch. I don't care if you get your website set up somewhere else. Okay. I don't care if you start running live art shows and marketing somewhere else, but understand that the marathon is coming and you need to start doing the 3 and 5K runs right now to get training, get ready for the holiday buying season. Cause I think it's going to be a huge one. You know, the fact that we still have so many people working from home and not going back to the office, and, you know, God forbid the Delta, that variant. I mean, where I am in Southern California, like 1 hour north of me, Los Angeles, like they're a day away from putting a complete indoors mask mandate back on again. So I say all that to say Q4 is coming, which is traditionally a huge holiday selling time of year. It looks like some of this COVID nonsense is going to be back, which means people are not going to be going into offices. They're going to be at home, which means the same facts on the ground this year are going to be last year, which is the entire home decor segment is going to explode like it did last time. Art and photography is a part of that. Everyone's home. You know, it doesn't matter if it's furniture or, you know, new barbecue stuff. They're putting a pool in the backyard or, you know, expanding the house. Like, great time for art and photography. This Q4 is going to be a big one. So getting spun up, getting ready to go before then is critical. You know, it starts right in like October 1. We start advising our customers on how to run sales, and, you know, everyone has just been like one-upping and slitting each other's throats, lack of a better term. You know, it used to be you'd wait till Black Friday to run the sale, and then people started announcing them 1 week ahead of time, and now people are announcing them like 2 weeks ahead of time, and, you know, everyone's trying to suck the dollars out of the ecosystem before the next person. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be another huge selling season for art. So it's important to get going on. Get it going and have that in your head ahead of time. And Richard, don't worry about the time differential. They'll work with you on it. We have, you know, pre-pandemic, we had myself, one other guy on the marketing team. He lives in Chicago. I'm in Southern California. The whole rest of the team was in Austin, Texas. Pandemic hit. The company started to blow up. We closed the office in Austin. And while there's some core of the company in Austin, we now have like truly an international team, which is amazing. I mean, we have people in Asia, in Africa, in South America, in Central America, in North America, and in Europe, all working on the team. So why do I go through that whole rant? Because 1, the world's changed, we've changed with it, and 2, we can actually offer support in time zones that are difficult. Let's just say, Richard, oh man, that flight coming home from Australia destroyed me. That is a no joke time zone switch. But I can't sleep on planes. Okay, Tom, you're up. Go ahead, Tom. I'll move myself out of the way here. You'll have to unmute, Tom, and I'll let you know when you get it. Mike's in the bottom left-hand corner. Are you there, Tom Lockhart? I see your hand up. Trying to unmute you. Bottom left-hand corner of the Zoom. I don't think Tom can get unmuted. What's the issue? I would say, Tom, if you're having issues, pop out of the Zoom and pop back in. You know, how incredibly universal, we'll see if Tom can sort his audio issues, how incredibly universal is that hack for our electronic world that we live in today? I mean, I am a huge nerd, okay, huge tech nerd, huge gear nerd. I always have been, and the sheer number of times the restart solves all the problems is staggering, right? Restart the iPhone. I have a problem. I have an electric bike. I have a problem with the damn bike. There's something weird going on. Take the battery out, put the battery back in, the electric bike version of the hard restart, things right back on the road, right? It's like everything. So too is Zoom. I can't hear, I can't unmute, I can't do this. Restart, come out, come back in, problem sorted. Oh, my voice is going. Anyway, definitely request a demo if you're interested. It's cool. You get to learn a whole ton of good stuff. And we have a summer sale that I think is running next week that it ends. I don't know. Ends in the next 2 weeks. That you get a bunch of free months, and I think a pretty smoking deal. So, like I said, great time to sign up. You have time now to sprint through the rest of summer and get ready for October. I mean, that's the bottom line. It doesn't take that long to get all the stuff up on a website and getting ready to go. I mean, it's, 14 days or less. We try to get most people live. So, yeah, that's what I would say. But anyone else? Final questions? You have another one, Jeff? Oh, you're just saying goodbye? Or you are raising your hand? I can't tell. Unmute and just tell me whether you have a question or not. It's all good either way.
Yeah, I'm going to take your advice and request interview thing, or what would you say it was?
Request a demo. So there's there's links in the chat that you can see. The easiest thing to do is just click one of those, or they'll be all over the email that I send you after the fact.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, you're sort of in a different circumstance because you could give yourself your own demo. Just ask Mark to show you his back end, and he's doing well though. I like Mark.
Yeah, he's great. Thanks a lot for your demonstration here.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. I love him. All right. I think we'll leave it there, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for joining me on the session. Enjoy summer, but understand Q4 is coming. It's like the Game of Thrones version of winter is coming. And, I'm not kidding. It is a huge sales opportunity. It is a huge time to go from hobbyist to pro. And yes, one comes around every year, but they're big. They're big, not to be trifled with. So have a great weekend, everybody. Hope to see you on a future session. Oh, hold on. Tom Lockhart tried to come back and he took my restart advice. Got to give him a shot at least. Tom, I'm assuming that's you coming back in with another device. We'll see if it works, see if it has a mic. Maybe yes, maybe no. I normally feel quite pleased with my my Zoom on the fly tech support. All right, T-Lock, I unmuted you. Is that you? Do we have you?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, okay? The restart fixes 90% of the problems. Good work, by the way. What did you do? Did you jump on your phone versus a computer or something?
No, what I did was I got on my other computer, which has a camera on it. My old computer didn't. So now I'm on here with all of you.
Hey, bottom line, you got it done. All that matters. Good work. Good work.
Jeez. Thank you. Oh, what happened now?
Don't worry, you're there. We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't have your camera, but it's fine. I can hear you. So go ahead.
There it is. I'm there now.
Okay, great.
Can
what?
You see me?
No, can't see you, but that's okay.
All right. I'll try to get this figured out, but you keep going. I'm listening to you. Doing a good job.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Did you have a question? Because I noticed you had your hand up.
Well, I was listening to everybody else talking about their marketing and how to proceed with what they're doing, and I'm with you 100%. I'm with a website company that's doing all the webinars, and I've spent hours upon hours upon hours on webinars, and I'm not painting, but I've also been in this business for nearly 40 years successfully as an artist, reached a very high pinnacle of success, and then after 2008 and then the pandemic, things have just completely slid off the edge of the cliff.
I know.
And now I'm trying to recover.
Yeah. What was the webinar thing, just out of curiosity?
I'm sorry, you broke up.
What was the webinar thing? You said you're running a bunch of webinars, or you're attending a bunch of webinars?
Well, through this, I'll just be honest, FASO, Fine Art Studio Online, they have a webinar 2 to 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. Trying to help you with email and marketing and everything else. I'm like some of the other artists that I was listening here talking. When you spend all that much time listening to webinars, trying to figure out how to market, trying to figure out how do you get any work done. And I'm not only my computer tech, my wife helps me with some of the office work, but I've still got to paint, I still got to ship, I still got to pack.
Oh yeah. I've
got to attend shows.
You're the back office, the front office, the janitor, security, the cook. Yeah, I know it. Yeah. I know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. So, that's interesting that Faza is doing that. Good for them for stepping up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of twofold, right? Like you have to have the complete comprehensive package. And this is not necessarily a knock on Fazo. This is just what we've learned ourselves. Mm-hmm. You have to have a 365 day a year calendar where you tell people what to do one day. Here's when you run a sale. Here's what you're going to post today. Here's the email copy to use, all of that. You need to have, hey, we're announcing a sale today. I've never run a sale. Okay, here's the do-it-yourself education to learn on your own how to run a sale. We already have this whole published audio video thing. Read that at your own pace. Okay, great. That's not enough. What you have to have is the cohort-based learning, okay? And what cohort-based learning is, it's exactly what this is. Internally, for our customers, we have Zoom calls 2 days a week. We talk about what's on the calendar. We go over the ins and outs of how it works, and then we open it up to Q&A. And so rather than just a button, a seat, passive learning, it's active Q&A, and then also learning from your peers that are all struggling with the exact same thing that you are, right? When you combine all those, we found that's sort of the secret sauce of the whole thing. And, you know, you have to get the education on how to market. There's no shortcutting that, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the way like the traditional do-it-yourself course market looks, and it doesn't matter whether you're talking about lynda.com or Kajabi or Masterclass or what's the other one I always forget about? E-learning, whatever. 25 to 30% of the people that buy the courses ever finish them, because you just can't learn on your own in a vacuum. And so the new wave of startups, and we sort of figured this out ourselves, it's essentially called cohort-based learning. And again, yes, you have to have the do-it-yourself education stuff, but you have to go through it with a group of your peers where you're actually showing up to classes and learning to actually truly put it into practice for most people. So we found that that's like insanely beneficial, and it's really helping our customers out.
Okay.
But yes, we can help you, Tom. Trust me. It's not a knock.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, it's not a knock on Fazo. We don't denounce our competitors.
No. I don't intend that to be that either. But yeah. I think that once we're aware, because I was telling Stan that called me this morning, every single solitary day I'm getting something in the email from all the different, and you're not alone, all the different art promoters out there that are trying to promote artists. And the change I've seen over the 39, 40 years of my life is going from self-educated artists into the art competitive world, having galleries represent you, exhibitions and shows, and then now facing this. So we're just learning how to do this.
Yeah. The whole world's changed, right? The whole world has changed, and
sure has.
You know, it's excuse me. It's a double-edged sword, right?
Yes, it is.
The double edge of it is the world that we're moving into is so much better for the artist. It's not even close, because I don't even get me started on how exploitative you know, the previous world was in the business model.
No.
The gallery. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying.
That doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean it's easy. Like, you have to fight to get your piece of attention along with all the rest of us. But when you have the right business model in place and you're chipping away at it day after day after day, it does get easier. You do get momentum. It's a real thing. And you have a business that no one can take away from you. And that's so important. It's so important that the artist controls everything. You know, and I can actually tease too. We're actually launching, it's in super hush-hush mode right now, but we're actually launching our own art gallery. And we're launching our own art gallery that has taken a hammer to the two biggest sacred cows of the entire art gallery model. Sacred cow number one, the commission percentage. You know, it's 50-50, 60-40. We're smashing that one to bits. Sacred cow number two, we're giving all of the participants 100% of the customer data on the sales that they make so that they can market to those people in perpetuity. And then number three, we're going to apply what we know in terms of digital marketing and tactics on how best to sell art, all the various tips, I can't even talk. You know, tips, tricks, hacks, that's the others, and we're gonna put those into place, right? And you know, it's a phenomenal concept. It's a great way for us to eat our own dog food and continue to hack at the best ways to sell art. So, exciting time. It's an exciting time. But okay, my voice is failing me. I got to go lay down. I am sick as a dog today. We leave it here. Any final questions, Tom?
No, I'm just going to connect with all these different links and go from there.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll send you a replay for anything you might have missed in the links, but definitely definitely request a demo. It'll be cool for you to be able to compare the difference between what our
All right.
software looks
Thank
like
you.
versus
Thank
Faza.
you very much.
Yeah. So all right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, everybody.